All right, everyone get ready because we are going deep into Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Yeah.
It's a tabletop role-playing game.
A TTRPG.
Yeah, you got it. A TTRPG.
Yeah.
So basically that
You
means...
get together with your friends.
Exactly. You and your friends, you create characters.
They tell stories.
Epic stories.
Epic stories, yeah.
So for this deep dive...
We are going to be using...
2 of the core rulebooks.
Yeah, PF2E Player Core 1 and PF2E Player Core 2.
To give you a really good...
foundation.
To jump into this game.
This awesome game.
Yeah, and Pathfinder 2nd Edition is really great because it takes this like classic TTRPG experience and makes it really approachable.
Yeah.
Even if you've never played this type of game before.
Exactly. So if you've ever wanted to be a valiant knight or a cunning rogue or a powerful wizard in a fantasy world,
this is for you.
This deep dive is for you.
We're going to cover character creation,
the mechanics that make the game work,
and give you a taste of all the amazing possibilities.
All the amazing possibilities
that Pathfinder 2E has to offer.
It all starts with creating your character.
Right.
It's like building your own hero from scratch.
Right.
You have so much freedom to make them unique.
Yeah.
And the first step is figuring out their potential.
Okay.
That's where those 6 attributes come in.
Okay.
Strength, dexterity, constitution,
intelligence,
wisdom, and charisma.
So those attributes, they basically determine how naturally good your character is at certain things.
Yeah, like a strong character would be good at lifting heavy things.
Oh, yeah, or smashing down a door.
Or breaking down a door, right?
Yeah.
Whereas a dexterous character might be a really good acrobat.
Okay.
Or a skilled archer.
Gotcha.
And each of those attributes has a modifier.
Okay.
Which is a number that ranges from -5 to +5.
And even higher, right?
Or even higher as you go on and play the game.
Okay, cool.
And these modifiers are so important.
They are.
Yeah, because you add them to your rolls whenever you try and do something that uses that attribute.
So like if your character has like a 95 strength, they might have a hard time opening a door.
They might not be able to open a stuck door.
Yeah.
But somebody with a +5 might just rip it off its hinges.
Exactly.
It's all about imagining those really fun,
those little details.
Details and seeing how that plays out.
And how that works out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we've done the attributes.
Now it's time to choose your ancestry.
Ancestry.
Which is basically choosing your character's species.
Like elf.
Elf.
Dwarf. Goblin. You name it.
I love this part.
Yeah.
It's like picking the base.
Yeah, picking the base.
For your character and each ancestry.
Comes with its own unique set of traits.
Right.
So in the core rule books, you've got a bunch of options.
Okay.
You have your dwarves who are tough and traditional. Elves who are agile and magical. Gnomes who are inventive and quirky. Goblins. Always got to have goblins.
Goblins are chaotic and cunning.
I like that.
Halflings who are nimble and lucky.
I like that too.
Humans.
Humans, classic.
Humans, they're adaptable and diverse.
Fleshy.
Fleshy. Yeah, they're like nature spirits who can take a physical form.
Cool. And orcs.
And orcs, they're fierce and strong.
So each ancestry has these little quirks.
Yeah.
I remember reading that elves have low light vision.
Yeah.
So they can see in dim light.
Right.
And goblins have dark vision.
Yeah.
So they can see even in like complete darkness.
Imagine you're playing that goblin.
Yeah.
Sneaking through a dungeon, using your dark vision.
Yeah.
To guide the party and avoid traps.
Yeah.
That's a huge advantage.
That's a big advantage.
It is.
And then there's like the versatile heritages, right?
Yeah, like changelings and Nephilim.
Yeah.
For people who want some.
For people who want to be
a
little bit out of the ordinary.
A little out of the ordinary.
Yeah, perfect. So we've done ancestry.
Now it's time to think about your background.
Where did they come from?
Yeah.
What kind of life did they lead before they became an adventurer?
It's not just about what they are, but where they come from.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
It adds so much depth to your character.
Yeah.
Like you could be a criminal seeking redemption.
Yeah.
You could be a charlatan.
A charming charlatan.
A charming charlatan who's always up to something.
Or a field medic.
A field medic who's skilled at healing and survival.
I remember there's a really interesting detail about backgrounds.
Okay.
In the rule book.
Okay.
You get lore skills.
Uh-huh.
Based on your past experience.
Right.
So like
a barkeep might be an expert in alcohol lore.
Yeah. Like they know everything about different drinks.
Yeah.
And how to spot a fake.
Exactly. Which could be useful on an adventure.
Could be useful.
It could be.
That's for sure.
Yeah, backgrounds really flesh out your character and make them feel like a real person.
So we've got attributes, ancestries, and backgrounds.
What's next?
What's next?
It's time to choose your class.
Class.
This is where you define your character's role in the party.
Okay.
And their core abilities.
Are they a warrior?
Are they a spellcaster?
Are they a skilled artisan?
Are they a cunning rogue?
Oh, this is the exciting part.
Yeah.
I am ready to dive into these classes.
Right.
What are some of the coolest options?
Let's get into it. Let's do it. I'm excited to hear what you think.
I am so excited to see what kind of incredible characters we can create.
All right, let's go. Welcome back to our deep dive on Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Oh, yeah.
We just finished talking about ancestries and backgrounds.
The foundation.
The foundation of your character.
Yes.
Now let's move on to classes.
Classes.
The heart of what your character does in this world.
Yes. This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Choosing a class is like choosing their profession.
It is.
Right. It determines...
Yeah. It determines their skills.
Abilities.
How they approach challenges.
How they're going to approach challenges.
Exactly. And Pathfinder 2e has a class.
Okay.
For just about every playstyle you can imagine.
Oh.
Do you want to be a master of magic?
Uh-huh.
A skilled warrior?
Yeah.
A cunning rogue?
Yeah.
A divine healer?
Yeah.
Or something completely different?
Give it to me.
There's a ton of variety here. And we're going to break down each class so you can see what sparks your interest.
Hit me with your first awesome Pathfinder class.
Let's start with the Alchemist.
Alchemist.
These are the mad scientists of Pathfinder.
Okay.
Masters of concocting potions and elixirs and bombs.
They can heal their allies.
They can.
Weaken their foes.
Or even
blow stuff up.
With a well-placed explosive.
I love the idea of playing a character who's like part scientist, part magician.
Yeah.
I can imagine an alchemist being a valuable asset to any adventuring party. What kind of concoctions can they make?
Well, they can brew healing potions to mend wounds in the heat of battle or create mutagens to enhance their own physical abilities.
Okay.
And then, of course, there are the bombs.
The bombs.
Alchemical mixtures that can deal fire damage.
Okay.
Create clouds of noxious fumes.
Yeah.
Or even entangle enemies in sticky webs.
Okay. That sounds wild.
Yeah.
It's like they're bringing a whole arsenal of tricks to the fight.
Yes.
Okay. What's next on our class list?
Next up, we have the Barbarian.
Barbarian.
A whirlwind of primal rage and unbridled fury.
If you like playing characters who just charge headfirst into danger.
Get cursed into danger.
The Barbarian might be for you.
The Barbarian might be for you.
Ah, the classic Berserker archetype.
Yeah.
I've always loved the idea of like a character who can tap into a primal power to become this unstoppable force.
Yeah.
But how does that work?
Yeah, how does that work mechanically?
So
barbarians have a special ability called Rage.
Rage.
That they can activate during combat. And when they rage, they get bonuses to their physical abilities like strength and constitution, making them super tough.
Super tough.
To take down.
Okay.
But they also become more reckless.
Reckless.
And less controlled.
Uh-oh.
Which can lead to some interesting situations.
I bet.
Yeah.
More power, less control.
More power, less control.
I bet that leads to some hilarious moments.
Oh, yeah.
At the table.
Especially if they accidentally attack their own allies.
Yeah.
In a fit of rage.
Oh, man, that's great.
It's all about balancing that raw power with a bit of strategic thinking.
With a little bit of strategic thinking.
Yeah. And speaking of strategy, let's move on to the Bard.
The Bard.
A master of performance, inspiration, and manipulation.
Ooh, the Bard. I've always loved the idea of a character who can, like, charm their way out of trouble.
Yes.
Or inspire their allies with a song, or even, like, demoralize their foes with, like, a cutting insult.
Bards are so versatile.
Okay.
They can support their allies, hinder their enemies, and even deal some damage with their music and magic.
I can see how a bard would be a valuable addition.
They would be.
To any adventuring party.
They're like the ultimate multi-classer.
Yeah.
They can fill a variety of roles depending on the situation.
Okay.
They're adaptable and quick thinking, always ready with a clever word or a well-timed song.
I like it.
Yeah. And now let's switch gears to the champion.
The champion.
A devoted warrior who draws their strength from their deity.
Ah, the champion. I imagine them as like a holy paladin.
Yes.
Wielding this divine power.
Yes.
To protect the innocent.
Yes.
And smite the wicked.
Exactly.
What kind of divine powers do they have?
Champions are masters.
Okay.
Of both martial combat and divine magic.
Okay, so they're like a double threat.
They can channel their deity's power
Uh-huh.
to enhance their attacks.
Okay.
To heal their allies.
Yeah.
And even ward off evil.
So they're like the moral compass of the party.
They often are.
Okay.
Upholding justice and righteousness.
I can see how a champion would be.
Yeah.
Like a formidable opponent in battle.
Oh, yeah.
Because not only are they skilled warriors.
Right.
But they have this divine power.
They have divine power on their side.
On their side.
Yes.
I'm starting to see why Pathfinder 2e has so many fans.
Yeah.
The class variety is amazing.
It is.
What other classes do we have?
Well, if you like the idea of wielding divine power, but want a more versatile approach to magic, there's the cleric. They're masters of healing protection.
Okay.
And even dealing damage with their spells.
So they're like the ultimate support class.
They are. Keeping their allies alive and turning the tide of battle with divine intervention.
Okay, so if I want to play a character who's like a battlefield medic, keeping everyone patched up and ready to fight.
Yes.
The cleric.
The cleric is a good choice.
Sounds like a good choice.
Yeah.
But what about like those who prefer like the raw power of nature?
If you're drawn to the wild and untamed forces of nature, there's the druid.
The druid.
A master of natural magic. They can transform into animals, command the elements, and even control plants with their primal power.
No, it sounds like fun.
It is.
I can imagine a druid shape-shifting into a bear to charge into battle.
Yes.
Or summoning a storm to unleash a torrent of rain and lightning upon their foes.
Yes, you can.
Talk about being one with nature.
They are all about embracing the primal forces of the natural world.
Okay.
They can be fierce protectors of the wilderness or wise guides who understand the delicate balance of life.
I love this diversity of classes.
It's great.
But let's not forget about the classic warrior archetype.
Yeah.
What does Pathfinder 2e offer?
Well, if you want to be the ultimate skilled warrior, the fighter is the class for you.
The fighter?
Fighters are masters of combat. Trained in a wide array of weapons and fighting styles.
So they're the masters
of
swordplay, archery, all things combat related.
They're all about honing their skills to perfection and becoming an unstoppable force on the battlefield.
Because they're the ones that charge into the thick of battle.
They're the frontline brawlers, the stalwart defenders, the tactical experts who can analyze their opponent's weaknesses and exploit them with precision.
I can definitely see the appeal of the fighter class.
Yeah.
But what about those who prefer like a more cerebral approach to adventure?
If you're looking for a character who's more brains than brawn, the investigator might be a perfect fit.
The investigator.
They're the cunning detectives of Pathfinder. Using logic deduction. And keen observation skills to unravel mysteries. Solve puzzles and outwit their foes.
I imagine the investigator being like a Sherlock Holmes type character.
Yes.
Always piecing together the clues.
Right.
Noticing the little details.
Yeah, they can spot a lie. Decipher a coded message. Or find a hidden passage that everyone else missed.
They're all about using their intellect.
Yes.
To gain an advantage.
Exactly.
That sounds really fun.
It is.
It's like playing a detective story.
Yeah.
Within a fantasy adventure.
Exactly.
And then, of course, there's the monk.
The monk.
A master of martial arts.
Yes.
And key energy.
A spiritual warrior. Who can channel their inner strength to perform incredible feats of agility, speed, and power.
I've always been fascinated by martial arts and the idea of channeling energy to enhance your abilities. What kind of cool things can a monk do?
Well, monks are all about discipline focus and harnessing their can energy to do really extraordinary things.
Like what?
They can strike with blinding speed. Dodge blows with uncanny reflexes. And even enhance their senses to perceive the world in a different way.
So it's like they're blurring the lines between physical prowess and mystical abilities.
They are.
They sound like a force to be reckoned with.
They are.
Okay, so we've covered alchemists, Barbarians, bards, champions, clerics, druids, fighters, investigators, and monks.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of classes.
It is.
But I know there's still more to explore.
There is.
What other unique and intriguing classes?
We've got plenty more.
Does Pathfinder 2E offer?
Let's keep going.
Okay, we're back and ready to dive into even more Pathfinder classes.
Yes.
In the last part, we covered everything from alchemists brewing up these crazy concoctions to barbarians unleashing their primal rage.
Yeah.
What other incredible options are out there?
Well, if you're drawn to the mysteries of fate and divine power,
okay,
there's the Oracle.
The Oracle.
A spellcaster who channels their magic through a unique curse.
Okay.
That grants them extraordinary abilities.
A spellcaster who draws power from a curse.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is.
It's like they've turned a misfortune into a source of strength.
Exactly.
What kind of curses can an oracle have?
There are a lot of different curses,
okay,
each with their own strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
So, for example, an oracle might have a curse of flames.
Okay.
Granting them control over fire, but making them vulnerable to cold.
Okay.
Or they could have a curse of battle, making them fierce warriors, but prone to recklessness.
So the curse shapes their abilities and even, like, their personality. Okay, that adds a whole other layer of depth to the character.
It does.
What other spellcasting classes are out there?
If you prefer a more nature-focused approach, there's the Ranger.
The Ranger.
A skilled hunter and tracker.
Okay.
Who's attuned to the wilderness.
Okay.
And can call upon nature's power to help them.
The Ranger.
Yeah.
I always love the idea of a character who's at home in the wild.
Yeah.
Tracking prey, surviving in harsh environments, and even having an animal companion by their side.
Yes.
What kind of spells do they have access to?
Their spells often reflect that connection to nature, allowing them to enhance their senses, command animals, or even unleash the fury of the elements.
So, like, they can control the weather.
They can.
That's awesome.
And they're also really skilled with a lot of different weapons, making them versatile in both ranged and melee combat.
I can imagine a ranger out in the wilderness tracking a dangerous beast, their loyal animal companion by their side.
Yes.
Ready to unleash like a volley of arrows or a powerful spell.
At a moment's notice.
It sounds like a really fun and immersive play style.
It is.
And speaking of immersive play style.
Let's not forget about the rogue.
The rogue.
Master of stealth deception and striking from the shadows.
The classic sneaky character who can, like, pickpocket, disarm traps.
Yes.
Deliver a deadly blow.
When their enemy least expects it.
What makes the rogue so fun to play?
Rogues are all about outsmarting their opponents. Using agility and cunning and a mastery of trickery. To gain an advantage. They are so skilled at stealth, allowing them to sneak past enemies undetected or deliver those surprise attacks
from the
shadows.
Yeah.
And they're also masters of deception. They're excellent liars, bluffers, and manipulators.
So they can talk their way out of anything.
They can talk their way out of almost any situation.
So a rogue would be invaluable?
They would be.
To an adventuring party.
They're the ones who can scout ahead, disable traps, even infiltrate enemy strongholds.
While remaining undetected?
Yes. They're like the ultimate spies and saboteurs.
Exactly.
And if raw magical power is what you crave, there's the Sorcerer.
The Sorcerer.
A spellcaster who draws their magic from their bloodline. Channeling raw, arcane energy to unleash devastating spells.
A sorcerer who taps into their bloodline.
Yeah.
That sounds super potent.
It is.
What kind of bloodlines can they have?
There are a lot of bloodlines to choose from.
Okay.
Each granting unique abilities that reflect the source of their power.
Okay.
So a sorcerer might have a draconic bloodline, granting them control over fire and a fierce draconic presence. Or they could have a fey bloodline, giving them mastery over illusions and a connection to the realm of fairy.
So their bloodline shapes their abilities.
That is.
And even their appearance.
It can.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is.
It's like they're channeling the very essence of their ancestry.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a class that combines martial prowess with a flair for the dramatic, there's the Swashbuckler.
The Swashbuckler.
A master of acrobatic swordplay.
Yeah.
And dazzling maneuvers.
Yes.
I imagine them as like a daring duelist.
Yeah.
Leaping and twirling through combat. Disarming opponents with a flick of their wrist.
Right.
Always ready with a witty quip.
They are.
What makes the Swashbuckler so fun to play?
Swashbucklers are all about style and panache.
Okay.
Combining swordsmanship with acrobatics and a theatrical flair.
Yeah.
They're masters of dodging and weaving, using their agility to avoid attacks and position themselves for those devastating counterstrikes.
Okay.
They're also really skilled at disarming and tripping their opponents, making them masters of battlefield control.
So they're not just like skilled fighters.
Right.
They're also super entertaining to watch.
They are.
I bet they're the life of the party.
They are.
Always ready with a daring feat or a charming one-liner.
Exactly.
They're the heroes that make even the most dangerous situations seem like a thrilling performance.
Exactly.
So I've got alchemists, barbarians, bards, champions, clerics, druids, fighters, investigators, monks, oracles, rangers, rogues, and swashbucklers.
That's quite a lineup.
That's an incredible lineup.
It is.
But I know there's still one more iconic spellcasting class to cover.
Yes.
What about those who like to study ancient lore? Master the arcane arts through research and dedication.
You're talking about the wizard.
The wizard.
The quintessential master of magic.
Just the master of magic.
Yeah, wizards are dedicated scholars.
Okay.
They spend years studying ancient texts, deciphering arcane formulas, perfecting their spellcasting abilities.
So they're spending hours in libraries, poring over dusty tomes, experimenting with magical ingredients,
absolutely,
pushing the boundaries of arcane knowledge. They're like the masters of spells. Summon creatures, control the elements, manipulate minds.
Even warp the fabric of reality.
Warp the fabric of reality that's powerful.
It is.
So wizards are incredibly versatile and powerful.
Yes, they are.
With so many classes to choose from.
Right.
How does a new player decide?
That's a good question.
Which one's right for them?
The best way to choose a class is to think about what kind of character you want to play and what role you want to fill in the party. Do you want to be the one who charges into battle? The one who heals their allies? The one who sneaks past enemies? Or the one who blasts their foes with powerful spells?
It's all about finding a play style that resonates with you.
Exactly.
And the great thing about Pathfinder 2e is that there's no right or wrong answer.
There isn't.
You can create any kind of character you want.
And find a class that fits.
So we've chosen our class.
All right.
We got to understand how to actually play the game.
Right. How does this all work?
Yeah, how do all these mechanics work?
In an actual game.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the core game system of Pathfinder 2e. Which is surprisingly elegant and intuitive. At its heart is the D20 roll.
The D20 roll.
Yes, the foundation of most actions in the game.
So whenever you want to do something, like attack an enemy, pick a lock,
persuade a merchant,
you roll that 20-sided die,
you add your modifiers,
and compare the result
to a target number.
That's set by the game master.
Exactly.
And Pathfinder is built around this
3 actions.
3 actions.
So giving you 3 actions per turn. To move, attack, cast spells.
Or all sorts of other stuff.
All sorts of other stuff.
So it's all about making those decisions.
It is.
Choosing the best actions.
To achieve your goals.
So you might use one action to move another, to draw your weapon.
And the third to attack.
Or you might use all 3 to cast a powerful spell.
Exactly. The possibilities are endless.
And we talked about skills.
We did.
Those are tied to your attributes.
Right, and they represent your proficiency in certain tasks.
Like a rogue with high dexterity and stealth. They'd be really good at sneaking around and picking pockets.
Exactly. Skills come into play all the time, whether you're trying to pick a lock, climb a wall, decipher a cryptic message, or persuade a guard to let you pass.
And then spellcasting.
Spellcasting.
We talked about the different spellcasting classes.
We did.
But how does spellcasting work in the game?
It's a complex but rewarding system. Spells typically take 2 actions to cast. And they come in different traditions. Like arcane, divine, occult, primal, reflecting the source of their power.
So a wizard might cast an arcane spell like Fireball.
To unleash a fiery explosion.
And a cleric might cast a divine spell like Cure Wounds.
To heal their allies.
This is a lot to take in.
It is.
But it sounds incredibly fun.
It is.
And engaging.
It's like every game session is a unique story unfolding. Filled with challenges and strategic decisions.
And moments of both triumph and disaster.
That's the beauty of tabletop role-playing games.
You're not just playing a game.
You're creating a story together.
Bringing those characters to life.
And exploring a world of endless possibilities.
And with Pathfinder 2nd Edition,
those possibilities are even greater.
Streamlined rules.
Diverse classes.
Rich lore.
It all comes together
to create this incredibly immersive
yes.
and rewarding gaming experience.
It does.
So if you're looking for a tabletop role-playing game
that's both accessible and deep,
with a vibrant world and a flexible system
that lets you create any kind of character you can imagine,
I highly recommend checking out Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
I second that.
Gather some friends, grab some dice.
Embark on an unforgettable adventure.
And remember the most important rule of all.
Have fun.
Have fun. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.